Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Dark Phoenix Gaming here, and welcome to Big Business. This is a game that I've been playing on and off for a good while now, actually. It's been pretty fun, and I really like it, but you probably should know this if you're going to be watching this. This game is still in early access. In fact, as of me recording this footage, it got its last update a few days after I recorded this footage, which was about 3 days ago, back on the 14th. So you should expect what I'm seeing here, what I'm showing here, to change a lot going forward, just because early access, and they have been, from what I've seen, fairly consistent in updating it. And also, I took a massive break from the game, and they have made some substantial changes in both just the general presentation of how the content is introduced and things, as well as just the basic narrative, because there is a tiny bit of a plot in this game, at least in the tutorial, and that's been just completely reworked in the time since I last played it before doing this video. Just to give an example, when you started out, when I was first getting into this game, they did it so that effectively you had a family member who had died, and you decided, hey, I must start a business, and then your uncle gives you some money to help out. It's since been changed, so you've moved to New York City, and you're starting a business, and he's giving you a hand with some stuff. Other than that, I know they've added a bunch more content with stuff like factories and things, but I haven't gotten far enough in the game to see that, so I can't really speak to it. I've done a little bit of the low-level stuff, and in past playthroughs, I've gotten far enough that I've reached the stage where I can hire my first employee, and things have reached the point where the business can be fairly hands-off, and the only thing I'm really doing is filling out my stock and making sure they have enough stuff to sell, so I can just do my own thing in the meantime. But I haven't gotten much further than that, certainly not a retail empire or anything. And in the current version, they've also removed part of the tutorial, because they used to recommend that you put you committed to a specific type of business because it was the easiest to get started with and cheapest and everything. They don't suggest anything about that one way or the other now, and just sort of,
hey kid, it's your
let
Uncle
you
Fred.
figure
I just
things
got
out
your
for
message.
your own, which is better and
Congratulations
worse.
on taking your first
It's
big
better
step
because
toward
it
becoming a
gets you
massive
used
success
to
like me. But
looking
remember,
over the
you
numbers,
have to
doing the
earn it.
research, and
So let's
making
get
your own
started.
decisions. But
Now that park bench might
worse,
look like a
because they don't
comfortable place to
tutorialize
sleep.
that
I have a better
aspect of
option
it,
for
like,
you.
at
A friend
all.
of mine owns a building with an empty apartment.
And
go claim it.
now, with all that preamble out of the way, I should probably start talking about what this game actually is. So, as the name Big Business would sort of imply, it's a business simulation game where you're an entrepreneur and you're starting your own business. But the big difference between this and something like Startup Company, that's the name of the game I'm thinking of. Alright, yeah, Startup Company. Sorry, I had to search in my Steam library to be sure, but the big difference between Big Business and something like that is the style. Big Business does things more in the style
Very
of a
nice. You found the
life
apartment.
simulator,
But it's looking really empty in here. Let's get you a few
with a
essentials to fill
focus
up the
on
place.
business
Let's
and
start with some food.
entrepreneurship
You
than
can't conquer
something
the
like
world on an
Startup
empty
Company,
stomach.
which is more of a strategy game with the people there to do their own activities, and you're just another of the characters sitting in the background, and you can command yourself to do things. Big Business is a lot like The Sims if the focus was on business stuff and you could actually start your own business rather than just having a job, is how I would best describe it. So I'll just sort of take you through the general loop of how things start out in the game. I really like it, but it's definitely not for everyone, and there is a bit of a build-up period. It takes some time to get going with the business loop of things, and there is a bit of time before you can actually hire people and things. In any case, the way it will generally go down is you start up the game. You've arrived in New York City. In the tutorial, your uncle gives you an apartment that you can rent, and he pays the first day's rent. But then you have to go and get yourself a job to be able to pay your bills for the next day. As a way to introduce you to the job and employment mechanics of the game as a whole. After that, you just get the plot approving you for a loan so that you can start your business. And it takes you to the place, and what you will do there is pick out the type of business you're going to start. And at that point, you start to get things a little bit more engaged, because you have to actually buy supplies and things for your business. You need to have shelves for storing the various products you're going to sell, as well as a cash register and paper bags and things. You have to buy all of that and load it into your car and take it to where your business is located and set up everything. Then, for the first couple of days, you have to do your buying and selling loop with customers manually. And until you make a certain amount of money. And then, you've almost arrived at the point where you're able to start hiring employees. But you have to educate yourself.
Impressive.
So there's like
you got
a
all the
class
basics
or
set up for
book
your first
or something.
Well
I
done.
don't quite recall.
You're making the family proud, kid.
But you have to
especially
finish
me.
that up
Now, open the business
to a
and
certain
start
standard.
collecting that cash. I'm rooting
And
for you,
then,
kiddo.
once you've done that, you are able to hire employees, so you can have someone else man the cash register at your business, and you just have to make sure things are stocked up, and you can kind of clean things, and you can help out in the store if you want to, or you can just fuck off and do your own thing and let the employee handle it while you just collect passive income, as long as you've actually you're buying and keeping the stock up to date. Because at that point, as of my last playthrough, you weren't able to schedule automatic deliveries or anything. Plus, that would probably be kind of expensive. I haven't engaged with that part of it, so I don't really know, but that's the general loop. Once you reach that point, and you'd probably have to start looking at the prices, and just in general, the combo pack of business simulation with life simulator, I just think it's a really cool concept, and I haven't put enough hours into it to be able to point out specific problems or flaws or shortcomings, but it's a really fun game, and I have a good time with it, which really, for something like this, that there's definitely enough there for you to put, I'd say, at least 100 hours into it, then that's really all that you need, is that there's enough there for it to be an enjoyable time. even if there are probably flaws. But yeah, I haven't run across anything yet that makes me go, oh, this isn't what I asked for, or I wish this would be here instead. But what I will say is that the traffic lights and pedestrians and things seem like they're more for flavor than anything, because multiple times in the game, well, for one thing, there doesn't seem to be any sort of police or law enforcement system, so you can run a light and hit other vehicles and no one cares, and if you hit pedestrians, it just pushes them to the side. It's a very weird system. I suppose the business simulation aspect of the game is more important than realistic laws and traffic dynamics, so that really doesn't bother me at all, if I'm being completely honest. It's something that I hope gets put in the future, but it doesn't bother me that it's not there. Really, at the end of the day, there's enough depth and options to the various systems that I enjoy this game, and I can see myself coming back a good deal. Even though it is in early access, there's a lot of stuff here, and I'm having fun with it. That's the important thing to me when you reduce it down to the base components, or however you want to put it. It's a fun game, and I like it. And I'm just very much looking forward to seeing what they decide to add to it next. This seems like a project worth keeping your eye on, even if you don't think it's for you right now. So, yeah, I'm not going to necessarily recommend it just because I hesitate to recommend early access games in general, because there's always the potential for the project to be abandoned down the line. I got this one fairly cheap on sale, because in general, I don't like putting money towards early access games. I prefer putting my cash towards games that are fully completed. That's just generally the way I approach those things. It's a personal preference. But yeah, it's a really good game, and I like it. But I would say that if what you see doesn't necessarily convince you right now, then you might be better served to wait until the game comes out of early access and is fully released, because even though I like what's there when it comes to early access games, you never know when they're just going to drop the entire thing. Just something to bear in mind, but I do like what's there personally. Anyways, this has been Dark Phoenix Gaming, and this is Big Business. If you've enjoyed this, please leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more of my talk about a video game type of stuff that I seem to be doing a lot of these days. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. See you then, folks. See you then. Bye for now.